Beef tongue is a delicacy that many people don't know about. To cook this, I'm going to prepare a special blend, and some of this is going to be added to water together with peppercorns, cinnamon, and cloves, and it's going to be brought to a boil. Turmeric is going to be added, and the tongue is immersed and cooked for a short period just to be able to cut the skin off with a sharp knife. The beef tongue is then cut into smaller pieces, and it's pierced with a fork and marinated. Onion and chilies are sautéed and the pieces of tongue are added. Water is also added and the tongue is pressure cooked. Once cooked, it's sliced and then returned to the gravy briefly before serving. Let's start with a very basic marinade. I'm going to be adding 22 grams, that's about 9 to 10 green chilies. I'm also going to be adding 90 grams of chopped ginger and 90 grams of chopped garlic. Add 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, half a teaspoon of peppercorns, and a 2-inch stick of cinnamon. To grind everything together, I'm going to be using the juice of a lime, and I'm just going to grind this to a paste. Now let's start with the tongue. This one is over a kilogram. It's 1,400 grams. This is roughly 3 pounds. The size of beef tongues vary. I usually find smaller ones, but I prefer this size as it will shrink after it's cooked. If you can find tongue fresh and get your butcher to clean it for you, great. If not, follow the instructions. My tongue was frozen and I defrosted it overnight. I also don't use saltpeter in my recipe as I'm not convinced it's needed. I've added enough water in my pot to submerge my tongue. Add 2 sticks of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of peppercorns, a quarter teaspoon of cloves. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of the ground paste that I made earlier and I'm going to mix this in. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of turmeric. You can adapt these quantities based on the size of your tongue. And the tongue is immersed. I'm going to boil this for about 20 minutes and after that I'm going to remove it and allow it to completely cool. Once it's cool, I'm going to use a sharp knife. I'm going to slit it. I'm going to cut it in half to make it easier to handle and I'm very carefully going to cut the skin off. You can also keep a smaller paring knife handy for all of those little stubborn areas. As we all know, turmeric in cooking has many benefits. It also dyes the outer skin a bright yellow color, making it really easy to see and clean. This is what the tongue skin looks like. You definitely do not want to be chewing on this. Once done, I'm going to cut up the tongue into smaller chunks. I've pierced the pieces with a fork, and to marinate it, I'm going to add salt to taste and all of the remaining ground paste. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, and 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and I'm going to mix this well together. For best results, marinate this overnight. I'm going to add some oil to my electric pressure cooker and I have set this to saute mode. I'm going to add 2 medium onions. This is roughly 280 grams and I'm just going to allow it to sweat before adding in a 1-inch stick of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of cloves, and 6 red Kashmiri chilies. This is roughly about 10 grams. Once the onion has caramelized, I'm going to add in the marinated pieces of tongue. Add some salt to taste and flip the pieces over. Next, I'm going to add 1 cup of water to the leftover marinade and I'm going to pour it over the tongue. I'm going to close my pressure cooker and set this for 20 minutes. If you're using a stovetop pressure cooker, add a bit more water and cook this for 3 to 4 whistles. After 20 minutes, I will remove the pieces and allow them to cool. I also have the gravy back on sauté mode so it can thicken. Please note, if you're using an electric pressure cooker, the gravy does tend to be thinner. Once cool, I'm going to slice this with a sharp knife. Now, this step is totally optional and unnecessary, but if I'm presenting this for a special occasion, I like to tie the chunks after they are sliced. This looks much better when you serve it and the slices look more uniformed. I'm going to add these back into the simmering liquid so it can find its way between all of the slices for maximum flavor for about 5 to 7 minutes. This is then ready to serve with fried potato slices. Enjoy.